All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible business stories you've probably never heard. It's a story that completely flips the script on how you build a massive empire. We're talking about integrity, a wild amount of vision, and how, believe it or not, cooking oil laid the groundwork for a global tech giant.
I mean, it sounds completely made up, right? Like something straight out of a movie script. But this is the real story of Azim Premji and his company, Wipro. And it's a journey that just rewrites that whole Silicon Valley rulebook of growth at all costs.
You see, this story doesn't kick off in some Silicon Valley garage with a brilliant tech idea. No, it starts with a family tragedy and a young man suddenly facing an enormous responsibility he never asked for.
So picture this. You're 21 years old, you're at Stanford, life is all planned out, and then you get the call. Your father has passed away and you need to come home to India now to take over the family business. And we're not talking about some cool tech startup. It was called the Western India Vegetable Products Limited. They made cooking oil and soap. In fact, some shareholders literally told him, "Kid, sell the company and go back to America." But he didn't. He refused.
So for the next 10 years, Premji just ran the business. He learned the ropes, he grew the company bit by bit, and he proved all those early doubters wrong. But then came 1977. An event completely outside of his control was about to happen, and it would set the stage for one of the boldest business pivots in history.
You know that old saying, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity? Well, for Azim Premji, a massive nationwide crisis was about to become the single greatest opportunity of his life.
Here's what went down. The Indian government, trying to boost local businesses, gave huge foreign companies like IBM a choice. Either sell off a majority of your company to an Indian partner or pack your bags and leave. IBM was the undisputed king of computing back then, and they chose to leave. Just like that, overnight, a giant tech vacuum opened up in India.
And this, right here, is what separates a good manager from a true visionary. Everybody else was looking at this situation and seeing pure chaos and disruption. Premji looked at that empty space left by IBM and saw a once-in-a-generation shot to build something entirely new. He made a call that most people thought was absolutely insane. The guy running the cooking oil company announced he was going to start building computers. I mean, just think about how radical that is. It's like your favorite local coffee shop suddenly announcing they're going to build rocket ships. It was a massive, high-stakes gamble.
So how on earth did he pull it off? Well, this was not luck. It was a super disciplined strategy. A playbook built on principles that are pretty much the exact opposite of today's move fast and break things startup culture.
This is it. This is the absolute heart of his playbook. For Premji, integrity wasn't just some nice-to-have moral principle. It was his secret weapon. It was his killer business strategy. In a business world where cutting corners was common, he decided to build a reputation for being the most trustworthy company out there, and that became his ultimate competitive advantage.
He built the entire thing on three main pillars. First, ethics above all else. Stories about Wipro flat out refusing to pay bribes became legendary. Second, he made a pivot within the pivot. He quickly realized the real money wasn't just in selling computer hardware, it was in providing high-value IT services, from boxes to brains. And third, the engineers he needed just didn't exist in India at the time. So what did he do? He built his own talent factory, training thousands of engineers from the ground up.
And this all brings us to a really important question, especially for anyone in business or finance today. In this age of venture capital and insane growth targets, how does this slow, steady, ethics-first approach even stack up?
Well, when you put them side by side, the difference is just stark. Modern startups, they're often chasing valuation, chasing market share, burning through millions in VC cash. Wipro, they bootstrap their entire tech pivot, funding everything from their own profits. Where today's startups often build a reputation on marketing and hype, Wipro built theirs on decades of actual trust. It's a completely different way of thinking about how to build a company.
But, you know, the story doesn't just end with building a hugely successful tech company. The final chapter, the final act, really reveals the true purpose behind this whole incredible journey.
Okay, get ready for this number. $21 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That's not the company's valuation. That's the amount of his own money that Azim Premji has personally given away to philanthropy. And this wasn't just, a big check he wrote one day. He legally and irrevocably transferred the majority of his personal fortune to his foundation. You see, the business was never just a machine to make money for himself.
It was an engine designed to create massive value for society. The very same integrity he used to build the company was used to guide what he did with the profits.
So what's the takeaway here? For us, as students, as entrepreneurs, as leaders, what can we learn from the guy who became known as the conscience of Indian business?
This whole story, it just offers this powerful counter-narrative to the way we're told to build businesses today. It proves you don't have to burn cash, and you don't have to compromise your values to build an empire. The lessons are so clear. See the big opportunity in a short-term crisis. Make your ethics your actual competitive advantage. Invest in your people above all else. And finally, build something that has a purpose far beyond just the bottom line.
And that kind of leaves us with one last powerful question to think about. In a world that is completely obsessed with speed, with blitz scaling, and with quick exits, what if the most powerful, most disruptive strategy of all is to patiently, ethically, and purposefully build something that is designed to last?
And that's it for this breakdown. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure you subscribe to Finologix for more deep dives into the strategies and stories that are shaping our world. Thanks for watching.
All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible business